Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Thanks so much for joining me today. Hey, have you ever been in a situation where you kind of have expectations on people, or maybe people have expectations on you, and this seems to kind of create some clashing because of maybe the inability to communicate with another person? I had a conversation recently that I picked up my phone right away and I wrote down this little note to talk to you about and to talk to you about it today. And here's why. I had a phone call with a family member, and it's actually my niece, one of my nieces. And she was telling me about her desire to be closer with family and her desire to have a better relationship with some family. And she was talking about how she was attempting to do that with one particular family member, and it just was not gelling. There was just like, she would try to like have some more intimate kind of conversations with with one of her cousins, and it just wasn't clicking. She's like, every time I try, it just doesn't work. And the advice that I gave her, something clicked inside of her, and I thought it would help you perhaps as well. And so here goes. So it would be wise if, first of all, that you kind of take a step back with some of those family members that you feel like, you're just not being able to connect with. Like, you long to have that deeper relationship, but something is just not working. Well, if you would imagine people in general almost like animals, right? If you would understand that they are who they are what they are, and not expect for them to be something that they're not, and to not expect for them to be something that they're just clearly not capable of being, your life would be so much easier. You would have so much less stress. You would have so much less judgment, and maybe you would get hurt less. Just think about it. Let's just say that there's some people might be like cheetahs. They run hard, they run fast, right? And there are other people that are like turtles. They walk very slow. They do not run, right? I'm talking about ground turtles. They don't run. Land turtles, okay? Their run is not the same as a cheetah, right? And yet we seem to have expectations on people that we want them to be faster than what they are, or we want them to be slower than they are. Have you ever noticed that? So for example, if you've got somebody in your life and you want to have a real intimate relationship with them, and they are just not wanting to have that, picture them like a porcupine. Listen, there are some people that have been wounded so much in their life, and they are refusing to get healed from that wounding. They don't even know that they should get healed of that wounding, that they're like porcupines, right? So you kind of get close to them and like, bing, man, you just get stung by them. You just like, ooh, ah, what the heck was that, right? Well, the person's like a porcupine, and they're happy being a porcupine. There are some people that intimacy scares the bejeebies out of them, and they just don't want intimate relationships. They want to have relationships that are very surface. They want to have relationships where, they talk about the weather, you talk about how your day was, and what happened at work, or what happened with the children, or what's going on in the news. They just want to keep everything kind of on the surface because that's where they're comfortable. They're not comfortable having more deeper conversations, talking about more emotional things. And when you try to push that person to have deeper conversations and tap into that emotional bank, where really honestly, you become vulnerable, where it's actually kind of scary for, I hate to say it, most people can't handle their feelings. Most people don't want to talk about their feelings. And most people don't want to hear about your feelings either. And so what they tend to do is they kind of act like a porcupine, right? They're just kind of around doing their own thing, and that's okay, but just don't get too close to me. Don't bring up topics that are just, that might like prick me in the wrong way. And here's what happens. When you do it. Because here it is, it's like they shut down, they shut off, and or they like jump all over you and come at you with what seems to be an attack. But in all reality, it's their own insecurities and it's their own defense mechanism. And so they're simply telling you, you're getting too close. Please give me some space. So if you were to picture, again, people almost like animals, I'm not talking about a personality animal test. I'm talking about if you just kind of look at like, wait a second, do I expect a cheetah to be slow? Do I expect a cheetah to have no spots? No. You expect a cheetah to be fast, and you expect a cheetah to have spots. And so nobody would go to a cheetah and go, Why do you have spots? And why do you have to be so fast all the time? Slow down. They don't know how to slow down. They were not meant to slow down. They were meant to run and run fast and to run with spots. So stop trying to change people. Stop trying to take an elephant and make the elephant do what a horse does. They're different animals. So if you can look at the people in your life and set the expectations accordingly, then you're not going to set you up for failure and you're not going to set them up for failure. Let me give you an example. I had somebody in my life that I was that girl that I believe in miracles. I really do. I absolutely do. God has done so many crazy miracles in my life. He's done so many crazy miracles inside of my heart. He has freed me. He has delivered me of hatred, of self-hatred. He has delivered me of hatred of other people. He has healed so many wounds that I've had deep down inside of me that we would be here for days if I were to tell you every single miracle that I have experienced in my life as I ventured on in this journey of trusting him, searching him out, my time of praying, my time of believing, my time of reading his instruction manual on how to live. But I have also found that there's a lot of people that they don't want to do that. They don't. They maybe want the results that you get when you live your life like that, but they certainly don't want to put in the work to get those kind of results, right? And so I kind of had this expectation of somebody that was in my life. And I had this dream of this person feeling the freedom that I have experienced. I had this dream, and it was actually a very, very close friend, a family member of mine. And this person had a long history of drugs and lots of abuse and lots of violence. And it was spousal abuse. I mean, just really had a horrific time, had lots of trauma in her life. And I mean, like some serious trauma. We're talking physical traumas. We're talking near-death experiences, several of them. We're talking trauma with her and her children. And so I wanted her so badly to experience the healing from all that because I also had suffered traumas just like that. And in some ways worse and in other ways less. And so, but what I knew was that God was completely capable of healing. He was capable of healing the physical body. He's capable of healing the emotions. He's capable of healing the spirit. He's capable of healing the mind. I have personally experienced all of these things. And nobody can tell me that it doesn't work because I know that it does. I mean, nobody could try to argue that with me ever. Like you just go ahead and go for it and try. All you're doing is showing your insecurities and your doubt, your fear, your unbelief. All you're doing is showing yourself that you're showing your weakness when you act like that. And so in the case with this particular person, I spent years hoping and even prodding and even like just trying to get the person to understand what the capabilities were and that it was possible to have all of that healing. And one day I realized something. This person doesn't want that. They don't want it. This particular person wanted to be sick. This person wanted to be emotionally beat up. This person was very comfortable with being mentally beat up and very comfortable with their coping mechanism, which was an insane amount of drugs. This person was perfectly fine and happy, if you will, with the life in which they have chosen because they've chosen to stay there. And when I realized this, I just went, oh my gosh. Because to me, how could somebody not want to be healed? To me, how could somebody want to stay in what I think is a prison? But to that person, it's not a prison. They have found their way that makes them happy. Whether that's a surface happy, whether it's a real happy, I can't possibly know, nor can I judge. But where I was guilty was trying to put an expectation on this person that I loved. And this is like years and years and years and years ago. Put an expectation on this person that I loved of being something that they just did not want to be. They were happy with sickness. How do we know? Because they chose to stay sick. They chose to give in. They chose their path. And when I realized this, I wept like a baby. I did. And you see, what I was actually communicating to this person that I loved so much was that they were not enough. That's what I was communicating. That I didn't agree with their choices. That I disapproved because I was constantly trying without listening, without hearing what they were really saying. I was trying to get them to move from their position and onto a different one, which clearly was rejecting their position. Instead of having the mental clarity and the spiritual maturity to say, I love you right where you're at, and it's okay. And I'm sorry that I have this hidden agenda, this unspoken expectation that I think you can do this and you can reach for this and you can be this. When it's clear you're happy with what you have. And that honestly is admirable. So I had to ask for forgiveness. I did. I had to ask for forgiveness because that was the right thing to do. And this allowed me to let go. You see, when you have a dream for someone else, well, and you're not healthy, you'll attempt to push that dream on someone else, and it's not their dream. And if it's not their dream, you can kiss that thing goodbye, friend. If it's not their dream, it's not their aspiration, they're not going to work towards it. So just because I had a dream for this person didn't mean it was their dream. And therefore, I crossed the line. They need to own their dream and their lifestyle just as I need to own mine and not push my ideas or even my faith on somebody to a point where it could cause someone to feel that they're not good enough, that they're just not good enough, and that they have to be something else in order to be loved, in order to be accepted, in order to be included. And that is wrong. You see, the greatest success book ever written leads us on how to live. And the entire book sums up to two messages. One, love God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, with all of your strength, all of your resources. And love your neighbor as yourself. And if you're trying to push your vision or your dream, or that you've created a dream that you have for someone else, you're out of order. This is not loving your neighbor. This is communicating to your neighbor that they're not enough. Where that neighbor is your mother, your child, your spouse, your coworker. Find out what is in them. Not always just by their words, but by their actions. So some people are turtles, some are porcupines, some are cheetahs, some are elephants, some are horses. I mean, if you think about it, there's a certain way that each one of those animals, and lots of other different animals, there are some that are poisonous snakes too. There are some that are poisonous. And yet there are humans that like to have poisonous snakes as pets. They do. They like the thrill of it. I see that also in relationships where someone has a pattern of being in abusive relationships. They've got their pet poisonous snake and they like the thrill. They're addicted to the thrill. They're addicted to the adrenaline rush of the poison being injected into their veins. They like the thrill of having to survive. This used to be me. I hate snakes, but oh boy, have I certainly allowed a few in my life. And oh boy, that if I ever expected not to be poisoned by them, I was the fool. Because if I'm going to live with a poisonous snake, there's a good chance that I just might get bit and I might be poisoned, injected into my veins, into my body, that could kill me. So friend, today be encouraged with this. It's time to let people be who they are if you really love them. And it's time to accept them right where they are if you love them. It's time to not push you on them, your dream for them. Here's one thing that I've chosen to do, to just pray. And when I haven't seen something moving in the direction that I'd hoped it would go, because again, I want to see everyone healed. I want to see God move in great miracles on everybody. I want to see everybody restored. Man, this is my heart's desire. I want to see that. But not everybody else does. And I have to be honorable enough to love them regardless if they want to stay sick, they want to stay poor, if they want to stay on drugs, if they want to stay in that abusive relationship, even though they tell you they don't want to, if they want to always struggle financially, it's their choice. How do you know? They got lots of excuses as to why they can't change their life. I had lots of excuses why I couldn't change my life too. And then there came that day. Enough is enough. Come on, I was homeless 28 and a half years ago. Enough is enough. I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm not homeless anymore. Successful businesswoman, married to the same guy for a lot of years. My gosh, 2.5 decades. Lots of kids, lots of grandkids. We've struggled and we've prevailed. We've struggled and we prevailed. So I understand this. We talk about this at First Steps to Success. If you're not happy with where you're at, and you're not feeling fulfilled with where you're at, then something has to change. And it's not your spouse, it's not your kids, it's not your coworkers, it's not your boss, it's not your employees, it's not your distributors, it's not the president, it's none of those things, it's none of the exterior things. But it's you. It's you. You have to change how you see it. You have to increase your skill set, especially in the area of communication skills with other people. You have to communicate. You have to improve your skills, your emotional skills, so that you don't react to people in a way that actually hurts you and them. You have to increase your skill sets financially. You have to increase your skill sets if you're in business and it's not going the way you want it. You have to increase your skill sets there. You have to learn to recognize the people that you're working with, whether that's the customer or the prospect or your coworkers, and realize everyone's telling you what you want to hear, but you have to learn to watch what they do. You have to learn to watch what they do and then plan accordingly. And you need to learn how to ask questions in a way that creates a safe environment where they can share what's in them. And have the spiritual maturity to love people exactly where they're at versus trying to make people change and be what you think they should be. So I hope you join us at a First Steps to Success here real soon. It's a 3-day intensive boot camp. Transform every area of your life in 3 days or your money back. We completely money back guarantee it. That if in 3 days that you're not able to transform your life, 30 days later, if you feel like that was a wasted weekend, it was a waste of time, which you know you've wasted lots of weekends. In fact, you're probably wasting this weekend and you probably wasted last weekend too. But if you feel it was like a complete waste and you've heard it all and you've done it all before and it's not going to work for you, we'll be happy to give you your money back. So you have nothing to lose except for a weekend, friend, a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and you've already blown many, thousands of them probably. You've probably blown thousands of Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. At least give this a shot. So go to DaniJohnson.com, click on events, and find out how you can attend First Step Success. That's if, by the way, it's not sold out, which we've had sellouts many times throughout our entire history of doing these intense boot camps. But you are guaranteed to grow your income. You are guaranteed to annihilate all of your debt in the next 5 to 7 years. You are guaranteed to grow in your career, and you are guaranteed to reduce your stress with the people that you live with and the ones that you work with. You're going to learn powerful strategies on how you can do all of that. So get over there right now and register for First Steps to Success. DaniJohnson.com, click on events and get your ticket right this minute before it's completely sold out. In fact, it could already be. So God bless you and thanks so much. Leave us a comment below. We really want to hear if this message meant anything to you, if it helped you in any way, and if it has, share it please with other people because people need to hear it. God bless you and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.